Hello and thanks for joining us. This is the World News at 12 from Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I am Solomon of FM and here are the top stories. Presidency spends at least 34.39 billion naira on Forex exchange purchases for international travel and related obligations in 2 years. General Christopher Musa reveals he was a target of coup plots meant to be shot by the orchestrators. Onitsha market traders comply with Soludo's sit-at-home directive. FMC denies negligence over singer's death, says claims of non-availability of anti-snake venom unfounded. Outside Nigeria, Gaza's key Rafah border crossing with Egypt reopens. And in sports, Atletico agrees 40 million euros deal to sign Lookman from Atalanta. Those are our top stories. Details coming up in just a moment. First, on the news, the presidency spent at least 34.39 billion naira in forex exchange purchases, foreign exchange purchases for international travel and related obligations over a 2-year period, findings have shown. The figure is according to data compiled by GovSpend, a government spending tracker managed by Budget. The records, which cover transactions by the State House, Presidential Air Fleet, the Office of the Chief of Staff, and operations linked to the President, Vice President, First Lady, and their raise, show a sharp swing in spending patterns between 2024 and 2025. An analysis of the data shows that 2024 accounted for the bulk of the expenditure, with total forex purchases of 29.35 billion naira. While 2025 recorded 5.04 billion naira. This represents a year-on-year decline of 82.8%, aligning with broader trends in the foreign exchange market, where the naira stabilized following policy reforms and improved dollar inflows. The transactions largely related to the purchase of foreign currencies for official trips, aviation operations, escacos, training programs, and logistics for international engagement involving top executive officials. While the presidency has maintained that such trips are necessary for diplomacy, investment promotion, and bilateral relations, the scale and timing of the spending have continued to draw public scrutiny amid Nigeria's fiscal constraints and forex shortages. In 2024, forex purchases were heavily concentrated in the first half of the year, coinciding with a period of heightened exchange rate volatility and sustained pressure on the naira. One of the most prominent spenders during the year was the Presidential Air Fleet, which alone accounted for several multi-billion naira transactions described by as Presidential Air Fleet Forex Transit Funds. The Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, says he was one of the targets of a coup plot and was meant to be shot by the orchestrators. General Musa spoke with Sheun Okinbaloye days after the military said some of the 16 officers arrested last October will face trial over an attempt to overthrow President Bola Tinubu. In October, the military arrested 16 officers over acts of indiscipline and breaches of service regulations. Several top government officials and other prominent leaders were allegedly penciled to be killed in the coup attempt. Reports have linked the attempted coup to the cancellation of the 65th Independence Anniversary Parade. Ex-Bayelsa State Governor Timipre Silva's house was raided over an alleged link to the coup plot. According to General Musa, those involved in the coup plot were unserious individuals. Let's take a listen.
There are those who think that you were compensated for some reasons by the president. Did you help in saving his life during the coup? I don't know about compensated. I know the president is always, he has eyes in picking out the best for whatever it is doing. And so I think I'll put in some things that he thinks I have other things to also add up. So for me, I'm ever grateful to that, for him considering me worthy to do that. And so I'll continue to do my best for my nation, for the president, to show that he did not make a mistake, that it was for real for what he has done. So for me, it's not a compensation. It's just there knowing that he understands that what we are doing, we were sincere, we were deliberate about it, and wanted the best for our country. And I think that's what works with it.
You were also instrumental in helping save his life and some of those who would have been killed in that planned coup.
As always, I was also a target, I am sure you know.
You were supposed to be locked up.
Now, I was supposed to be arrested, and if I refuse, I was supposed to be shot. But that's the job. And anybody who goes into coup, I mean, zeros his mind, because you know you succeed, good. You don't succeed, whatever consequences come, you're ready for it. But then again, I think these guys were just a bunch of very unserious individuals that really don't know. If you look at the caliber of the individuals, if you look at, I don't know what got into their heads to think that they could take on the armed forces like that. What I even said was, even Nigerians will have fought them.
Moving on, some suspects arrested and linked to the killings in Yelwata, a town in Benue State, to be arraigned on Monday, February 2. They will be arraigned before Justice Joyce Abdul Malik of the Federal High Court, Abuja. In a statement on Sunday, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice assured Nigerians that justice will be assured in the matter, sending a strong signal to enemies of the country acting under any disguise. In June, gunmen attacked the Yelwata community of Guma local government area of Benue State, killing scores and leaving hundreds displaced. Security operatives announced that they have arrested some people in connection with the attacks. Tinubu had visited the state in the wake of the incident and asked security operatives to go after the mastermind. The killings prompted Governor Hyacinth Alia to once again ask for the establishment of state police and an intervention fund for the affected communities. Alia said community police is essential to ensure the lingering crisis rocking the food producing state. Traders of the Onitsha main market have reopened their shops in compliance with a directive by the Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo. Soludo had last Monday ordered that the market be shut down for 1 week due to the perceived compliance with the Monday sit-at-home order by non-state actors. The governor also warned that if traders failed to open at the end of the 1 week shutdown, the market would be closed for another week and subsequently for longer periods. However, a week after economic activities were grounded, the traders were seen tripping into the market. A visit to the market on Monday, it was observed that many traders resumed their businesses as early as 8:45 a.m. Starting from Egerton to Ose Food Stuff Market down to the Young Park, one of the major entrances in the main market, many traders were seen setting up their wares. From Emeka Ofo Plaza to Sekoto Road and to Lagos Line and Marine, many traders have opened their shops while customers have started to patronize opened shops. It is clear that the traders are complying to the government's directives of ignoring the sit-at-home order. The order, which has been in place for about 4 years, have disrupted economic and social activities across the southeast and has been publicly condemned by the Soludo administration. The state government has urged residents to go about their lawful activities without fear and shunning the illegal order, which it described as an economic sabotage on the region. The management of the Federal Medical Center FMC Jabi says efforts were made to save the lives of singer Ifunanya Nwagene, popularly known as Nanya, who died from a snake bite. The hospital denied allegations on social media that it failed to provide adequate care to Ifunanya, who suffered complications from the bite. The hospital, in a statement on Sunday, said their team of professionals worked diligently to provide CPR and other life-saving measures. However, despite these efforts, they were unable to revive her. According to the statement, doctors quickly assessed the patient and established that she had developed serious neurotoxic complications from the snake bite. The hospital added that arrangements were already being made to transfer her to the intensive care unit ICU when her condition suddenly worsened. They said the medical staff provided immediate and appropriate treatment, including resuscitation efforts, intravenous fluids, intranasal oxygen, and the administration of polyvalent snake antivenom. According to the statement, the singer died from severe neurotoxic complications arising from the snake bite and not from negligence or the absence of anti-snake venom, as alleged online. FMC expressed sympathy with the family of the deceased, describing her death as a painful loss. The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress TUC said they will stage a peaceful protest as a peaceful solidarity rally on February 3 in support of the Joint Union Action Committee JUAC. The unions announced this in a joint statement signed by Benson Ukpa, General Secretary of the NLC, and Nuhu Tero, Secretary General of the TUC in Abuja. The solidarity is in support of the strike by Federal Capital Territory, Federal Capital Development Authority FCDA workers led by GUAC over unpaid salaries. Workers under the GUAC commenced an indefinite strike on January 19, shutting down key administrative offices including the FCTA Secretariat and the FCDA. The strike followed the expiration of a 7-day ultimatum issued on January 7, demanding that the FCTA management address long-standing labor and welfare grievances. According to the union, the rally is to reaffirm labor's collective resolve that an injury to one worker remains an injury to all within the Nigeria labor movement. You are currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll go straight to our news analysis segment and we have Peter Anosike, a current affairs analyst. He is also an academic doctor with PhD in consulting and profit management from Benue University in the state of Delaware, United States. He is the author of the book Abuse of Power: How Democracy Turned into Tyranny of the Few. Dr. Anosike, thank you very much for joining us on the news at 12.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go to the first news item, which is the presidency spending at least 34.3439 billion naira on foreign exchange purchases for international travel and the related obligation over the period since he was sworn in, which is 2 years. I mean, this wouldn't exactly be a surprise finding, considering how many travels he's done since he assumed the presidency. I'm talking about the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Well, for me, I think that Bola Ahmed Tinubu want to win the record of as the most traveled president in the country. Mm-hmm. That's what I can say.
More travel than the previous administration?
Yes, he wants to win the record as the most traveled president in the country. Because if you check, most of those travels are for vacations, not really for business. Understand me? Not really for business. And again, what has come out of it? Understand? What has come out of this? If it's 2024, what is our forest direct investment? 19 billion, which means we are running at a loss. So it should have been better for us if Tinubu has stayed in the country and channeled that money into productivity in the country, because we are not getting anything from it. Understand me? Investors are not coming into the country, and they will not come. Why? Because the factors that will attract investors are not in the country.
Insecurity for one.
Insecurity for one, lack of power and supply for two, compromise judicial system. Understand me? So, as Dangote said, you don't invite investors, you attract them. You attract them with your enabling environment, which we don't have in the country. So investors will not come into this country. So Tinubu should better stay down, and that money he will be using that for maintaining a presidential jet, buying fuel, paying hotel accommodation, extra code. Let him be using it and investing in the country.
Well, permit me to play the devil's advocate here, but I mean the president would have been traveling with the confidence that the insecurity situation would have been will be resolved. For one, the alliance, as it were, with the U.S. president, and of course
was it his travels that brought it?
The Christmas bombing is still on. Well, was
it his travel that brought Donald Trump into the country? The answer is no.
What about the Turkey alliance? I mean, even the
what
president
has come out of
Erdogan has
what has come
said
out of
that
it?
He will support the president in the
he will. Understand? We're not talking of agreement. Buhari signed thousands of agreements. How many of them was implemented? So we're not talking of agreement. We're talking of reality. What has come into the country as a result of his travels? The answer is none. Investors are not coming, and they will not come. Why do we have diplomats? Why do we have a foreign affairs ministry? Some people are paid to be doing this job that Tinubu is doing. President mustn't go everywhere. We have people in the foreign affairs who can be going to all these things. Understand? Is it every time that you see the British Prime Minister on air? It's not. We have diplomats, we have people in the foreign affairs. So, as I said, he's just trying to win the award as the most traveled president in Nigeria. Period.
Now, one of the most prominent spenders during the year has been the presidential air fleet, which alone accounted for several billion naira transaction, described as presidential air fleet Forex transit fund.
United States has that's Air Force One. As poor as we are, we have presidential jets. A poor country like Nigeria, a country that cannot feed itself, a country that 141 million are into multidimensional poverty. We are having presidential jets. There are many countries that don't even have single presidential jets. Their head of state travel in commercial distance. Understand me? So for me, people run to the president for the presidency just to have their own health renewed.
But Nigeria still have an image to protect. I mean, our president using a commercial flight.
The president of Argentina,
that would be a shame.
The president of Argentina that has no presidential jet. The president of Croatia has no presidential jet. What you need is to have the job done and not how you get there. Nobody them there. Understand me? What you want is let the job be done. How you get to where you go is not important. Understand? Nobody's coming there to check your shoe to see if it's dusty or whether you trek or not. Understand me? So this is a waste of resources.
And okay,
this is a waste of resources. Because we have other people that will have done this in a much cheaper way. Tinubu must not be everywhere. Just like what P2B said, that in January as a whole, that Tinubu was in Nigeria for 8 days. Which qualifies him as an absentee president. Understand me? That qualifies him as an absentee president in your country for 8 days, which means you are now a visiting president.
I mean, why the scale and timing of the spending have continued to draw public scrutiny? Obviously, amid Nigerian fiscal constraint. I mean, the presidency have defended their trips that they are necessary for diplomacy, investment promotion, and bilateral relationship.
That's what Bayo is paid to do, to defend. So I'm not surprised. They should defend it, but how much has come into the country after all these things?
Is it possible that these trips may not produce immediate results, but in the near future, let's say the next 1 year or 2 years, we're beginning to see the dividends of this?
Buhari owned for 8 years. What did it produce?
I mean, this is not Buhari, this is Tinubu. They are two different
The only thing that improved in Buhari's tenure was his health. He become more fresh. Understand me? That is the only thing that improved in Buhari's 8 years as a president. Understand me? So what has improved? Check 34 billion. What did he get from it? Understand? So signing an agreement does not mean implementation. You attract foreign investors. You don't invite them. When there's an enabling environment, they'll be coming on their own. Nigeria, with over 200 million population, is the biggest market in Africa. Population means huge market. So we're not supposed to be running
young population at that.
So we're not supposed to be running chasing for investors. When we put our country in order, they'll be coming on their own. Understand me? When we put our country in order, when there's stable power supply, when there's infrastructure, when there's security, when there's transparent judiciary, investors will be coming on their own. We don't need to go out to invite them.
Well, hopefully the incessant traveling will start yielding dividends. But the Minister of Defense, the next story, General Christopher Musa, has in a televised interview with Shehu Kimbaloye, says that he was one of the targets of the coup plots that was thwarted some months ago, and there was meant to be shot by the orchestrator. I mean, you hear him say, what's your take on this, what he said?
Well, for me, I know that the coup, they have no good intentions. Understand? I'm not in support of military government. They are not trained to rule. They are trained to fight. So I'm not a fan of military intervention in politics.
No one is, but
yes,
with the situation.
But there's one statement that he made, which to me is trying to deceive himself, saying that Nigerians will have fought them. That's a lie. Nigeria would have celebrated. If that coup has succeeded, Nigeria would have celebrated. But I thank God that it didn't happen. Because Nigerians act on the spur of the moment. Understand?
Sorry.
Nigerians act on the spur of the moment. So we thank God that the coup did not happen, because one, I believe in a democratic rebellion of the people. That is using
democratic rebellion
of the people. That's using your vote to chase out unperforming government. Using your vote, not using gun.
But in a situation where the people don't even trust the electoral system, what happens then?
I don't believe in military intervention. I was of age when Buhari was announced head of state in January of 1984. Understand? And I know what we went through from that time till 1999. So I can never pray for a military intervention in Nigeria.
I mean, some will ask, worse than what's going on right now in the country? because I grew up in the military coup then.
They did not experience what I experienced. Understand? They did not experience what I experienced. I was in the civil society. I know what we went through. Understand? Some of us has their head broken with barrels of the gun.
Well. Some have argued that during the military is just the civil organizations and the political elites that were suffering. But ordinary Nigerians, it meant nothing to them. I mean, as far as there's 3 square meal, your life is safe. People don't really care the kind of government that
I care about my fundamental human rights. I care about my rights. I care who is governing me.
But I mean, there are no rights now, as it were. I mean, on paper there is, but in reality, some would argue.
No, but I still prefer that's a civilian regime to a military government.
So, what do you think about his opinion of what happened in Benin, coup? He said, within 12 hours that the president of Benin, called the Nigerian president for help when, during the failed coup in Benin, and in 12 hours, the president sent soldiers to help.
He's not saying the truth. The Benin president called Emmanuel Macron. Emmanuel Macron told Tinubu to intervene.
Oh, okay.
Understand me? That is what happened. Understand me? That is what happened.
In other words, the president intervened when
on the instruction of Emmanuel Macron
called him.
Sure. Understand me?
Wow.
And mind you, the people were already celebrating. There was celebration everywhere. So once this happened, because military comes in as a messiah, understand me? We are coming to rescue the country. People will fall into that, but within 6 months, they will now see that the change that they want, that the disease they want to change has become worse than the cure. So I'm never a fan of military government.
Anyway, traders of the Onitsha main market have reopened their shops in compliance with a directive from the Anambra State Governor, Chukwuma Soludo. Today, Soludo had ordered last week Monday the market to be shut down for 1 week if the markets continue to comply with the Monday sit-at-home order. But obviously the threat worked, and findings today show that the market opened and shops, traders were displaying their wares.
Excuse me.
And
buyers
went into the market.
We will be doing some investigations. We are journalists. I called 2 people in Onitsha main market by myself. Understand me? Call CP of Anambra. There is a security, police provided security, army provided security. Understand me? Police provided security, army provided security on and along that market road. From Idemili, I made calls by myself. Understand?
Okay.
So if not that there were security, they would not have come. And that's the reason why they have not been coming, because government did not provide security. No trader will be happy to shut down his shop, especially on a Monday, having spent money Saturday and Sunday. Understand me? So they are not happy and closing their shop. So it's because of this, the governor is going that's in a bulletproof jeep with police, military, and ordnance. Are now telling an innocent man go and open a shop without providing security. Understand? So why it works is because they provided security for them.
But how long will the security last now? That's the question.
Well, because
they won't do that every Monday.
No, they should be doing that every Monday.
Are you sure that
they should be doing that every month? If they don't do it and one person gets killed, they will begin to observe it again. Understand me? So Ludo should make sure that what he did today, that he will continue to do it every Monday.
Which means the compliance only lasts as far as protection of these traders, continue.
If I'm working for you, when you stop protecting me, I'll stop coming. It's a simple thing. Understand? My life is more important than your work. So it worked because police provided security. I called on it by myself. Police provided security. They are military on the road.
Anyway, our last story for today. The management of the Federal Medical Center says efforts were made to save the lives of a singer Nanya, who again popularly known as Nanya, who died from a snake bite. I mean, this was some of the biggest stories at the weekend when the news went round that the singer was bitten by a snake in Abuja, and then due to negligence by the FMC management, she died. Obviously, the hospital management have come out to defend themselves that the professionals worked diligently to provide CPR and other life-saving measures. Despite this, they could not revive her. They mentioned some of the things that were given to her, that they provided resuscitation efforts, intravenous fluids, intranasal oxygen, and the administration of a polyvalent snake antivenom. I'm not a medical practitioner, so I'm not sure how this works. But despite that, he died of severe neurotoxic complications. What's your take?
Well, for me, I don't really know who is saying the truth now, because what I'm reading in social media is Nigeria hospital cannot even provide the anti-venom. Understand me? So the issue is
together with so many other treatments.
Snake bite is not a serious thing. If there's immediate first aid. So I don't really know. Understand how it happened.
It depends on the kind of snake, though. Some venom for some snakes are worse than others.
So I don't know. It's
There is a situation of he say them says, so we don't even know what to believe.
I don't know.
But I mean, we know the situation of the hospitals in Nigeria. We know the Japa syndrome, how there's a brain drain in the country, especially from medical practitioners. That's why, I mean, they say when you're a thief, when something go missing, you're the first person they'll point out to. We know the situation of the hospitals in our country. That's why it is easy to believe this kind of stories coming,
but
from
for me, if there's immediate first aid, understand me, just like tying on the spot to avoid this thing getting to the heart.
It also depends on how long it took for them to bring him to the hospital after the snake bite.
If there's immediate first aid, I don't know if that thing happened. But when all the venom has spread, it becomes too difficult to manage. Understand? So,
anyway, Dr. Anosike, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
That was Peter Anosike, a current affairs analyst. He is also an academic doctor with PhD on consulting and profit management from Benue University in the state of Delaware, US. He's the author of the book Abuse of Power: How Democracy Turned into Tyranny of the Few. And now to stories outside Nigeria. Palestinians have started to enter the Rafah border crossing between the Gaza Strip and Egypt after it reopened for the movement of people. The crossing was largely been closed since May 2024 when the Palestinian side was captured by Israeli forces. The long-delayed reopening is a key part of the first stage of U.S. President Donald Trump's ceasefire plan between Israel and Hamas, which began in October. Only dozens of people will be able to cross in both directions each day. Humanitarian aid and commercial goods will still not be allowed through. Around 20,000 sick and wounded Palestinians are waiting to leave Gaza for treatment. Israeli report says only 50 patients, accompanied by 2 relatives, will be allowed to exit each day, and that 50 of the tens of thousands of people who left Gaza during the war will be allowed to return. The World Health Organization (WHO), who oversee the transfer of patients from territory under Hamas control, transporting them by bus through territory controlled by the Israeli military to the crossing. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz warned that anyone who crossed the yellow line, which marks Israeli-controlled territory under the ceasefire deal, will be met with fire. The Rafah crossing will be run by supervisors from the European Union and local Palestinian staff, while Israel will carry out remote security checks. And out of sport news, Atletico Madrid say they have agreed a deal with Atalanta to sign Ademola Lookman. The agreement is pending a medical examination and the signing of his contract. The 28-year-old Nigerian international, who scored a hat-trick as the Italian side beat Bayern Leverkusen to win the Europa League in 2024, is expected to cost Atletico around 40 million euros, that's $47.5 million, according to media report. He played a major role in Nigeria's brilliant campaign at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. The winger has scored 3 goals in 19 matches across all competitions this season for Atalanta. Born in London, Lookman began his career at Charlton Athletic before joining Everton. After a loan spell at RB Leipzig, he signed for the German side permanently in 2019, but was loaned back to Premier League sides Fulham and Leicester before moving to Atalanta in 2022. And just before we go here again, our top stories. Presidency spends at least 34.29 billion naira on Forex exchange, foreign exchange purchases for international travel and related obligations in 2 years. General Christopher Musa reveals he was the target of a coup plot meant to be shot by the orchestrator. We also brought a story that Onitsha market traders comply with a Soludo sit-at-home directive. And FMC denies negligence over singer's death, says claims of non-availability of anti-snake venom unfounded. On our international scene, we brought a story that Gaza's key Rafah border crossing with Egypt has been reopened. And in sports, Atletico agreed €40 million deal to sign Nigeria forward Ademola Lookman from Atalanta. And that's the world news at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I am Solomon Offem. Do follow our social media handles at VOP